I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psych Hacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is be careful about asking for advice. So I learned this lesson the hard way. There was a time in my life several years ago when I was feeling very confused and uncertain. And so I went to some of the mentors in my community and asked them what I should do. And because I was so panicked and desperate in that moment, I ended up asking the advice of a lot of people, maybe 10 people in total. And this was a problem because, lo and behold, when I asked 10 people for advice, I received 10 different responses. To make matters worse, some of those responses were mutually exclusive. I mean, intelligent folks that I respected gave me completely contradictory direction. And this just added to my trouble, because now, even if I were to follow the advice of one of these folks, the other 9 are going to look at what I ultimately do and think, what the hell? I sat down with Orion, I listened to his troubles, I went out of my way to give him advice that he asked me for, and he still didn't follow it? Those folks are understandably going to be less disposed to help me out in the future, because they saw how I treated their advice in the past. And this was really my fault. I got myself into a situation where I could not fail to disobey some of the advice that I was given because I just asked so many folks for help. So the lesson here is that you need to be very careful about asking for advice. You should only ask advice from people who already have what you want or who already know how to do what you want to be able to do. And you should limit the amount of people from whom you ask advice to avoid the situation that I found myself in. And finally, you should avoid the question, what should I do, entirely. A much better question to ask these folks is, what would you do if you were in my situation? This is an excellent question for 2 reasons. In the first place, to the extent that they can empathically put themselves inside of your circumstances, they're going to give a response that reflects their own self-interest. And oftentimes, what people would do in their own self-interest doesn't exactly align with how they believe other people should behave. For instance, a dirty secret of the medical profession is that most oncologists would not undergo chemotherapy if they had cancer themselves. So it's also a great question to ask your doctor. And in the second place, by asking, what would you do if you were in my situation, you're not bound as rigidly to follow the advice as you might have been if you had asked, what should I do? The response here won't be an explicit direction to you personally, so it gives you some space to accept it or not as a suggestion. What do you think? Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm. And if you'd like to schedule a consultation or provide a donation, see the About tab for more information. Thanks for listening.